Welcome to the Unmistakably Magic Podcast. I'm RJ.
And I'm Cort.
We are two lifelong fans of Disney parks and all theme parks.
Each week, we bring you the latest news from Disney parks and beyond.
Plus, this week, we'll be talking about Hurricane Irma and how it ruined my Disney World vacation. No, just kidding.
Did it really ruin it, though?
No, it made it awesome. We're going to talk all about it.
You seemed like you had a lot of fun. So you recently got back from Disney World.
Yep.
And first episode back.
I know. We're going to talk about Hurricane Irma, though, because that's the big news.
That was the biggest news. But we also have a lot of other news coming your way. Tried to cut out all the irrelevant stuff of Irma.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
Bet.
I think I did a pretty successful job about that. Well, there's some pretty exciting stuff coming up in episode 62.
Let's kick it off with that news.
Man, it's great hearing that news music again.
Did you miss it?
Well, like going through the past 2 weeks.
It's true.
It was just a weird jump to
I
not
know.
this.
Totally throws you off.
Threw off my groove.
You threw off the Emperor's groove.
I'm sorry, you threw off Cort's groove.
Sorry.
Can we get a bouncer in here?
Yeah. Throw old ladies off our tower.
It was an old dude.
Was it old
It was
dude?
an old man.
It was an old lady.
Well, Universal's Aventura Hotel will feature some really cool technology. The hotel will feature a fast casual dining area, underwater speakers in the pool, a rooftop bar with stunning views of Volcano Bay and Hogwarts Castle, as well as in-room tablets that will allow guests to control the temperature, TV, and more in their rooms. Plus, it will also feature a VR game room.
Cool.
So you can experience all of Universal's greatest attractions without ever having to leave your hotel.
Via VR, yeah.
VR.
Pretty much.
This is really cool. I'm very interested in the VR game room. I'm wondering if that will take off at other hotels in the future.
Yeah, could we see that replace the arcades at like all the Disney resorts, or even like the Great Wolf Lodge types too?
Just VR rooms everywhere.
Yeah.
It's kicking off. I'm also curious to see how the tablet implementation will be. If that will just be abused to no end by 6-year-olds or
TV on, TV off, TV on, TV off, TV on. 100 degrees, 90 degrees, 20, 50 degrees. 80 degrees.
There's got to be some parental controls on there.
I imagine it's probably mounted to the wall or secured somehow.
Something.
Yeah.
But then that would be like, just give me a TV remote then.
I know, yeah.
If I can't hold it while I'm watching TV
True.
and just peruse, or even watch TV on that tablet.
Yeah, is it a true tablet or is it more of like a
Like a
a
Nintendo
single user
Switch?
interface type of thing? I don't know.
Who knows?
Be
We'll
weird.
find out.
Yeah.
Well, Disneyland has announced their holiday offerings and dates. Pretty much everything will be returning, including Sleeping Beauty's Winter Castle, the Believe in Holiday Magic Fireworks Show, a Christmas fantasy parade, as well as the holiday layovers of the Haunted Mansion and It's a Small World. Plus, Disney California Adventure will feature the Festival Foods Marketplace, as well as Viva Navidad, and World of Color Season of Light will be making a return. Holidays at the Disneyland Resort will run from November 10th through January 7th.
Wow. It's kind of late into January after.
It's like a week after.
I guess
That's
it's
generally
yeah.
pretty standard. I don't know.
I just consider Christmas, but I guess
After Christmas, holidays, I guess.
they have a little bit of a gap before their next real big season, so I guess they can take time.
A tiny gap.
Yeah.
Not much. Well, Dragon Challenge has officially closed over at Universal's Islands of Adventure to make way for a new Harry Potter attraction that is unnamed as of yet. The opening day attraction was a favorite amongst fans, especially when it featured the dueling element between the two tracks. And I also believe it was the only inverted B&M roller coaster to feature dueling.
Wow.
So losing a bit of coaster history with this switch. We don't know much about the replacement attraction except that it will be the most heavily themed coaster experience that Universal has ever created. Which makes me stoked because I think arguably the Mummy coaster is hands down the best themed roller coaster on the planet.
Yeah, true.
Like that rivals Indiana Jones Adventure over at Disneyland and Tokyo. So I'm stoked for this one. Kind of bummed that it's Harry Potter because I'm not the biggest Potterhead. Wish it was something a little cooler like Star Wars, Star Trek. Yeah. Star Trek would be a dope coaster.
It would be.
Like that one opened up in Germany and it's 90% outdoors, which is very upsetting. Although it does have some cool elements in there. Well, Dole Whips are now available on the mobile order over at Disney World. To get a tasty treat, all you have to do is order and pay for it on the My Disney Experience app and tell the restaurant that you're there via the app. And you'll have a Dole Whip waiting for you.
Nice.
Skip the line. Although
I was going to test this, but the dining plan was not eligible, and I was not about to pay for something.
So sad.
Wasn't about to pay for something, just be
that you already paid for.
To try, yeah.
So sad. Although I'm curious to see. I think this will be the only restaurant, which is Aloha Isle, over in Adventureland, that will have a longer mobile ordering line to pick up the Dole Whips than actually waiting and purchasing a Dole Whip.
Probably.
And I think if this ever comes to Disneyland, we will have the same issue, and Dole Whips will go very, very fast. And lines will be extremely long for those over at the Tiki Bar. They're already obnoxious. Probably the longest line at Disneyland.
Unless you go in.
It's not.
Unless you go in the other side.
It's still very long there a lot of the times, too. Well, Terminator 2 3D will be closing over at Universal Orlando on Sunday, October 8th to make way for an all-new live experience based on a high-energy Universal franchise that will open in 2019. So...
Wow. Over a year, it must be pretty big. Not just a it's not just a...
No, not just a kind of quick layover.
This is something new,
tear it out, throw it in. Can we see Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
I'm trying to think what else Universal owns. It's high energy.
I don't know. The only thing that popped into my mind was Fast and Furious, but that's already getting a new attraction there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what's high energy. We already have so many Universal properties in those parks.
I don't know.
I'm curious to see what it'll be.
It'll depend too how much they want to do. If they keep it a theater, you could do the America's Got Talent live or something, But if not, then could it be something else? I don't know.
I'm curious to see what will open up there.
Yeah,
because it is a really cool attraction. Very dated, but still.
That's why I said bye to it, because I was like, it's so.
Well, let's be honest. Terminator 2 is probably the best of the Terminators.
Yes.
Not gonna lie.
Yes.
And it really set the franchise off, and it just has a lot of really cool elements within it.
It does, and it was one of the first that I remember where it was like the mixed use of like the person live in the theater as part of the, there's
the show elements of like interacting with what's going on
the pre-show,
screen.
all that too. Yeah. So
this was removed from Universal Hollywood a while ago though, and then replaced with I believe it was Minions.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is that I can't picture what they put in it.
I have no idea.
They already don't have, like you said, Fast and the Furious was something that came to my mind, but I don't know. We'll see.
Is Kingsman? No, that's Fox, isn't it? Kingsman, like the Secret Service, and now I don't know what it is. Bond? Can we see Bond? No, that's 20th Century.
Yeah.
Paramount. Man, I don't know.
That's what I mean.
It's up in the air. Surprise us, Universal.
Yeah.
Well, Hollywood Studios over at Disney World will feature an all-new way to celebrate the holidays with Sunset Seasons Greetings. The billboards on Sunset Boulevard will come to life, and iconic characters will share their love of the seasons as the Hollywood Tower Hotel will transform to accompany their stories. Guests will experience stories from Mickey and Minnie, the Toy Story toys, the Swedish Chef, and Olaf. Sunset Seasons Greetings will take place from November 9th through December 31st. I am Stoked to see what the Swedish chef says and does.
They're doing a lot with this projection because it's got to be projection mapping.
Oh, it's pure projection mapping. Maybe they might replace the billboards with LCD screens or LED screens. But on the tower, it's pure projection mapping. Which
we could talk about later, but the new show is pretty.
Oh, yeah?
The whatever it's called.
Star Wars Galactic Knights
No,
one?
I didn't watch that, but the one on the castle in Magic Kingdom.
Oh,
Not the fireworks, but the
one before that.
Yeah.
The Memories in You?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Yeah,
called. Magic the Memory. No, it used to be called
So
Magic
the projection
the
mapping stuff is pretty legit. So.
Oh, they've gotten way better with it because I think even the last time that I saw it, it was
my
still
parents
a little
had never
off.
heard of it, and they were like, "What is that?" They were like blown away.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, Shanghai Disneyland has announced a new digital FastPass system. The new system, dubbed Disney Premier Access, works pretty much the same way as MaxPass over at Disneyland. Service is a pay-to-use, but isn't required to get a FastPass. So, digital FastPass is on your phone. You can either scan your ticket and run it through your ticket, or just you get a QR code whenever you make a FastPass reservation, and then you can scan that at the FastPass entrance.
That's cool.
So, I'm sure we'll be seeing that come to a lot more parks.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
Quickly. Well, Disney legend and Imagineer Xavier X Atencio has passed away at 98. The Denver native wrote the scripts for Pirates of the Caribbean as well as The Haunted Mansion. He also penned the lyrics for Grim Grinning Ghosts and Yo Ho, A Pirate's Life for Me, as well as voicing the talking skull inside Pirates and the voice from the coffin in the Haunted Mansion's creepy corridor of doors. He later contributed to Space Mountain, Spaceship Earth, and the Mexico Pavilion. Sad to see him go, but I mean, he lived till 98. Yeah, that is very impressive. I was telling you before the show, I am friends with his great niece.
Okay.
So, pretty cool connection there.
Yeah.
But it's also really cool that he's from Denver.
Yep.
You know, got that CO pride.
That's right. Did he help out with Casa Bonita?
Oh my goodness, I hope not. Did you know that that's not like a Colorado exclusive thing? It was made by some dude.
I didn't realize
it was
that
like
it's like a chain.
Yeah, it was a chain. It was a chain. It's not anymore. Okay. This is the only one left.
I didn't realize that until.
But some dude in Idaho came up with it and opened the first one in like Phoenix.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I didn't. I always assumed it was totally unique to us, but yeah, I know.
No, it's not.
I know.
But it's sad to see an Imagineer pass away.
It is. I feel like we're losing it. Like a lot of them are getting way up.
Well,
there.
it's just getting to that age where Disneyland was built in the 50s.
I know. If you think about guys in their 20s and 30s in the 50s, they're
getting up there.
Yeah.
So,
if not gone already, so it's sad, but
it's
part of
life.
Yeah.
It's part of life. It's the way it goes.
That's what happens.
Well, Cedar Fair has extended their deal with Peanuts Worldwide to continue the use of the Peanuts characters in their parks through 2025, with an option to extend even farther to 2030. So going to be seeing a lot more of Snoopy, Charlie Brown, and them.
Which is funny because I feel like I don't know what they would do if they lost them, because I feel like that's all of their branding is Peanuts.
That's a lot of their parks. That's all of their kid zones. A lot of their holiday stuff.
I guess it'd be one of those
seasonal things.
Would somebody else pick them up? I guess I don't know. Because Universal's got
their own properties. They've got the Minions.
Disney's got their
Disney's
own
got
deals.
their own stuff. Six Flags has Looney Tunes, and DC.
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, and DC.
DC.
Cedar Fair. Yeah, no, that's pretty much all they got.
Yeah.
All the other companies are not quite big enough.
I would think it wouldn't be
because like whoever
to leave.
I forget who owns Elitch's out here.
It's some conglomerate.
Last time
it's changed hands about 6 times. So.
And just so you know, if you ever hear Elitch's or Elitch's,
somebody say that?
That's wrong. It's Elitch's.
Somebody say that?
Yeah.
To who?
I was watching it's like Coaster.
It's like some YouTuber.
Coaster Studios. And he was talking about like going through. Well, he was talking about the company that owns it, the parent company of Elitch's, and he was like, Elitch's or Elitch's. Like, what?
It is a hard E.
He said it's so, bad.
Instead of Elliches.
Or Ellich Gardens. Like, what?
Elliches.
Ellich Gardens.
I can see that, though, if you were trying to pronounce through it.
Yeah, and
you didn't know it's a hard E.
Yeah. He was talking about Six Flags buying, because Six Flags recently bought back a couple parks.
Did they?
At the beginning of the summer, yeah. And so he was talking about, like, other possible parks that they previously owned and then could possibly buy back. And he was like, Elliches.
In Denver.
Could be. Elliches in Denver.
In Denver.
Ellich Gardens.
Ellich Gardens in Denver.
It's Elliches. Elliches. Well, Universal Orlando announced the return of a celebration of Harry Potter for 2018. The event will feature Q&A sessions with film talent, special panels, and special celebrations. The event will take place from January 26th through the 28th, 2018, and more details will be announced soon. So follow Universal Orlando on Twitter.
Surprised. I mean, I thought this was already an annual thing. I didn't think it would.
It's turning that way.
I would think it would be worth their money and time.
Yeah, definitely.
To get all the Harry Potter heads in there.
Definitely. Well, Ellen DeGeneres is on a mission to get her audio animatronic from the Ellen's Energy Adventure attraction that closed last month. She was joking around on her show, and she said that, quote, "It can host my show when I'm not feeling well. It can host my show when I am feeling well."
That would be
quote.
hilarious.
It'd be so
Especially because
funny.
it's like 90s Ellen.
Yeah,
Like,
it's so, it'd be perfect.
I hope they give it to her.
I would.
I don't know what else.
Oh
I mean,
my
I
God.
guess you could strip it down and use it for parts.
Use it for some other audio animatronic, but
Still.
that would be so funny if she got it. Like, I could only imagine the jokes. Because, like, when Finding Dory was coming out, she had a timer from literally the day that they announced the release date
I know.
until it released. And it counted down to, like, milliseconds.
Yeah.
When Ellen's into something, she
know.
goes over the top. It's so funny.
Disney would lose an opportunity here not to.
Easy advertising. Well, Disney After Hours is returning to Disney World in January and will run select nights through March of 2018. The ticketed event allows guests to enter at 7 p.m. and stay until 11 or midnight, depending on the night, and gives guests the opportunity to ride attractions with little to no wait. The tickets are $119 per person. Head on over to Walt Disney World Resort website to purchase tickets and to look up the dates. I do not know if this still includes unlimited Mickey bars.
Yeah, that's what we were trying to figure out because last year it did, but
and that was like the main, like,
Yeah,
can
like,
you
I
eat
would totally-
$119 with the Mickey bars?
because they're $5 each now. I don't know if they went up. I feel like they did.
Only
I feel like they
need-
used to not be $5.
Only need to eat 24 of them
Oh, I could totally do that. I could totally do that.
in one night.
Oh yeah,
In
I would probably puke, but I could
like
totally
5
do it.
hours.
Oh yeah,
Max 5 hours.
I think that sounds like a challenge.
Oh man. All right, so if they still
I have some park hoppers sitting at will call for me, so I know what I'm doing in January.
the hashtag Unmistakably Magic Mickey Ice Cream Bar Challenge.
And then immediately after, you have to go over to Epcot and get the Beverly. Did you see my Instagram of that?
was funny.
It's so bad.
I watched it.
I was like
9
trying
times.
not to, and then I was like, nope, it's
Yeah,
bad.
it's still
Nope,
bad.
It's still bad.
Still bad. Well, a new Disney villain parade is coming to Disneyland Paris. Goofy's Skeletoon Street Party will feature Goofy dressed in bones and will take place over in Frontierland. Basically, just a dance party in Frontierland with Bones Goofy.
Are puns relevant in French? I don't know.
I don't know if they translate very well,
Skeletoon.
but they have everything in English over there as well. Found out I could have written Tower of Terror in English.
How?
You just
Ask for English?
you just ask for the English ride, and then they'll be like, all right, wait over here, and then this ride will be English. They just cycle through it.
Oh well.
They have like
English,
English, French,
it
and
in
like
original form.
yeah, it was cool.
Yeah,
Plus, Mickey's Halloween Tricycle Gang Parade will take place
Watch
daily
out.
on Main Street,
you down.
USA.
Tricycle gang.
It's so funny.
Streets are hard up in Disneyland Paris.
Paris. I just wonder, like, how much, like, people who have never been to America think that Main Street USA is what most small-town Americas are. It kind of has the feel of it, but at the same time, not at all.
It's kind of a cartoony version.
Well, Halloween experiences at Disneyland Paris will run from October 1st through November 5th. So not nearly as long.
I know.
As
I was about to say
every other Halloween
started
everywhere.
in August here in America, apparently.
Well, at Disney World, yeah. Legoland parks around the world will be seeing some updates soon. The Great Lego Race will transform the existing Project X roller coasters into new experiences that will put riders in a race against Lego characters like Trendsetter, Pharaoh, Surfer Girl, Wizard, and Pirate Captain. The new experience will be in VR and will allow guests to race in rocket-powered surfboards and even a scooter powered by espresso.
Jeez.
I honestly want to know if, Lego designers or Legoland designers ask their kids, "Kay,
what should this be powered by?" Or what? Yeah.
Yeah, how do you come up with a stylish scooter powered by espresso?
And a rocket-powered surfboard.
I can come up with a little bit better. But, espresso-powered scooter?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
It's just so great. Props to you, Lego. You are truly, I don't know. Innovating your brand. You're truly referencing, you know what your brand is, and you know what Legos
You're
are
super
about.
relevant right now.
You guys are killing it.
You're on trend.
I honestly, I've never even looked at Ninjago, Lego sets before, but I want to see that movie. The Lego Ninjago movie.
I saw a trailer for it.
It looks so funny.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the Lego Batman movie?
No, did you?
That was worth it.
Was it?
Yeah, it was on my flight to London. It was available.
Oh, cool.
So I was watching it.
I might have to watch it.
It's pretty funny. Not as good as the Lego movie. But it's up there.
I can see that.
Well, Give Kids the World Village is having a charity contest that has a grand prize of staying in the Cinderella Castle Suite at Disney World. The winner and 5 guests will receive a night in the Cinderella Castle Suite, 2-day park passes for each guest, breakfast at Cinderella's royal table, and round-trip flights to Orlando. Simply donate a minimum of $10 to Give Kids the World Village to enter. And if you donate more than $10, so $10 gets you 100 entries, and then it proportionally goes up from there.
How many? Yeah.
So 1,000 is
that's typical. Yeah.
10,000 entries or something like that. So really cool prize right there, because you can't book that.
Nope.
Really ever. Rarely do they allow celebrities to do it too.
I know.
I think the last.
I have not seen as many. I feel like for a time there it was kind of.
It was the thing. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it in a while.
I feel like the last person that I saw was Brad Pitt.
By the way, they were filming a Disney Parks video one day when I was there, so you got to look for me. I was wearing a pink shirt, so it'll be obvious.
All right, so look for you.
I don't know what they were doing, but they were in Fantasyland.
Well, the Queen Mary will introduce a 38,000 square foot ice park that will feature an ice skating track, ice bumper cars, ice tricycles, a zip line, ice shuffleboards, a 100-foot tubing line, and much, much more. This will be the first park of this type, I believe, in North America to ever be constructed. Wow. Chill will run from December 13th through January 7th, and visit the Queen Mary's official website for all the details. SeaWorld San Antonio will be adding a few new things in 2018. Sesame Street Parade will feature a ton of friendly characters and will debut in spring 2018. Taumata Racers.
The what now?
Taumata.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was
the Taumata.
Yeah,
I say tomato, you say Taumata.
Somebody somewhere.
The Taumata Racer will be a mat racer over at Aquatica San Antonio and will also open in spring of 2018. And Electric Ocean will kick off the summer 2018 season, with Electric Ocean being probably an exact copy or very, very similar to what we saw in Orlando earlier this year, which looks dope. Honestly,
I know.
Electronica
we talked about it when when it came up.
Bring Electronica back. Hashtag bring Electronica back.
Jeez Louise. There it is. Every episode.
Well, Sesame Place over in Pennsylvania will open its first wooden steel hybrid coaster. Oscar's Wacky Taxi will be a family coaster and will feature a 40-foot drop and will twist and turn over 1,200 feet of track. This will also be the first coaster installed at the park since 1998.
Wacky Taxi.
And the Oscar's Wacky Taxi. Do you see they have a POV kind of rendering of it?
Yeah.
It looks great.
I know.
Like, it looks like a lot of airtime. I was
surprised for Sesame Place.
I think it's being constructed by GCI, Great Coasters International.
So it's a legit coaster. I mean,
yeah, no, like it looks like it has a ton of airtime, pretty consistently high speed throughout, and it's also got Oscar sitting there looking back at you driving the whole time,
that's awesome. Yelling
at you in the POV, or in the rendering. Wonder if they'll actually throw that in there,
like an audio animatronic Oscar
that would be
in the front.
Amazing.
Sit down, shut up.
All right,
scram.
I hope you enjoyed your ride now. Scram. Well, our last bit of news this week is about Epcot, and I am stoked for this. On October 1st, Epcot will be celebrating its 35th anniversary, and we'll have some special events going on for that day and that day only. The anniversary celebration will take place at the Fountain View stage at 10:01 a.m. A special edition of Illuminations will be held at 9 p.m. Commemorative guide maps will be available throughout the day, and some exclusive anniversary merch will be available, and it will be part of the I Was There collection. Supplies are limited, so be sure to get to Epcot early and enjoy the anniversary of when the 21st century truly began. It's evident in our poster in the background. The 21st century begins October 1st, 1982.
I keep missing this.
Barely.
Because it was the 30th. The 30th was the same thing. I was there for the 30th, but they didn't have it. They had no merchandise out, and same thing with the 35th this time.
It was just, you're just slightly off.
I just got to go a little later.
You just got to go October 1st.
I know.
Be there October 1st.
I think we would have been had we not moved the trip up. No, I think
shortly after. Yeah. You were there.
So we would have been able. There would have been some of it out.
Yeah, there would have been some merch, but none of this exclusive I Was There collection.
No.
Which on the Shop Disney Parks app actually looks pretty legit. Like those.
Will you actually be able to buy it if you're not there?
I don't know actually.
I can't imagine.
I don't think they would allow that.
But you can at least get some of the general 35th.
Yeah, you can get the 35th stuff. You can already get like an I Was There T-shirt on the Shop Disney Parks app in a couple variations, but I'm sure there will be more exclusive, like I was actually there.
They're probably selling those so people can wear them on that day.
On the 35th. Yeah. And it's so cool. It's so retro. I want to go back to Epcot. I want to visit soon.
You should.
Yeah, I was really jelly when you were there.
I know.
I was jelly rolling, buddy.
Yeah.
Speaking of you being at Epcot, though, one, that just about wraps it up for the news this week. And two, we get to now hear not really a trip report.
Not really a trip report, but we're going to talk about a little bit about it.
A little bit,
because we were at Epcot the night that they
closed it all down. Well, stick around.
Saran wrap around.
Plastic wrap.
Seriously.
Saran wrap is a brand. It's plastic wrap.
Plastic wrap. They plastic wrapped a lot of things.
Well, stick around. RJ is going to tell you what it was like being at Walt Disney World Resort while Hurricane Irma hit.
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
Dude, I've been up since 6.
Yeah, it's already 12:30.
It's 12:30. I got like 4 hours of sleep last night.
You're loopy.
I had a lot of classes today. I swam. I worked.
I get it.
It was a lengthy day.
Well, we're going to talk about what it's like to experience a hurricane at Walt Disney World.
Yeah, you had an experience that very few people have had.
Only, 5 times now in history?
Well, Disney World has closed 5 times now in history, yes. 5 or 6, I believe.
I I think it's 5 for Hurricane and then 1 for 9/11.
So 6.
So 6 total? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was 6 total. 5 or 6 total times. Yeah. But hurricanes have only happened literally a handful of times that have been severe enough.
It's always
to
September,
close.
by the way.
Yep.
So if you're gonna book a trip in September, here's some advice. So we got there Thursday afternoon. Went to Disney Springs. There was a little bit of rain. We knew Irma was out there. It was all over the place because at one point they were saying it was going to go in the Gulf. The next day they were saying it was going to go off and hit the Carolinas. So it was like there was no guarantee either way. So we didn't cancel our trip. A lot of people thought, are you going to? Are you going to cancel your trip? I'm like, no, I'm not going to cancel my trip.
Yeah, you already paid for all of it. Might as well use it.
And this is something we'll talk about too, but Disney doesn't allow you to cancel it without penalty unless you're 7 days within the hurricane warning, which really only happened the day of the hurricane. So
yeah,
I don't, literally if you're there, you're there. And if you're coming, you have some options, but
you might as well go because then Disney will take care of you.
Yeah.
Because you can, well, let's talk about that first.
Yeah.
So Disney World was closed for a grand total of 2 days.
2 days.
And so
it was Sunday and Monday.
Okay, so it was closed Sunday and Monday.
So I think, was it Friday they announced that they were going to close? I think Friday they said, we are going to close.
Yeah, Friday they announced they're going to close Sunday and Monday.
They pushed out a notification through the My Disney Experience app.
They tweeted it out.
The news was all covering it.
Universal had announced it earlier that day.
Yes.
And then
Disney waited till that night pretty much.
Yeah, they waited until it was like 5 p.m., 5 or 6 p.m.
a little later.
But it was still like 2 days or the day before.
Yeah, because
it wasn't like the night before.
Which was nice because it gave us some warning so we could kind of figure out. We kind of rushed our way through Magic Kingdom the first day, through Epcot the first day, and then we decided to kind of rush through Magic Kingdom the next day.
Yeah.
And funny thing, we ended up flip-flopping for dinner because we ended up in Epcot
for dinner
on the second day and Magic Kingdom for fireworks the night before.
Man,
so
that's funny.
Okay, we did a lot of park hopping.
I bet you did. So, how did Disney take care of you, like, as far as financial stuff?
Well, we got refunded for the 2 days of... We could take a refund of the value between the 8-day park hopper and the 6-day park hopper.
Okay.
Because we had 8-day park hoppers, which was only about $150 for all 3 of our tickets. Because it's really not that big of a jump between 6 to 8.
Yeah, not at all.
The other option was to take 2-day park hopper tickets
per person. Oh wow!
That are no expiration date, and they're literally sitting at will call. So some year we go and we give them this code and say, "Give me my tickets."
Yeah, we want them. So then, can you apply those days to like extending your trip?
That's what
can you extend those days to like 8, 10, or whatever.
That was my assumption. You buy everybody a 6-day park hopper and then go up to will call on the 7th day and say, "Give me my extra tickets."
Yeah. So then, are those tickets only available to? Because you have kids who are fairly young. And
so that's why
they fall under the child age range, right?
Well, the one's an infant, so she doesn't count.
Okay.
And then the other one counts as, we're not really sure. It was a little hectic when we were getting all this information.
Yeah. So are you going to email them and be like, "Hey, just check in"?
Is one of them a kid ticket? Yeah.
Is one of them a kid ticket? Because probably not going to make it back.
We also tried to have them rolled over to Disneyland, and they said that wasn't an option. Because that would have been a little,
would have been nice. They used to accept Disney World tickets over at Disneyland.
I know. Now I think the prices are so.
Well, Disney World was much more expensive than Disneyland, and so that's where they would allow it. They're like, we're making profit. Who cares?
Yeah.
But now they're just so different, and Disneyland is way too crowded for anything.
Yeah, I know.
Different topic for a different time.
Yeah.
Okay, so they gave you those 2 options. Did they give you any other options?
No, that was it.
Okay, so when my dad and we had a little conversation about this while it was kind of happening of, well, I wonder what Disney would do. Would they just give them 2 days of a non-expiration ticket, or will it, which is basically what they did.
What they did, yeah.
Okay, so they gave you that option, or they gave you the option of the difference between the 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Because, the only other option would have been the actual cost of each day's ticket, but that wasn't they were saying, hey, you still got 6 days, like we'll give you the difference between the 8 and the 6, which financially wasn't worth the
not worth
not compared to a 2-day park hopper in my waiting for me at the gate. So
all right, did they do anything with the meal plan at all?
So what they did in the hotels was they offered $6 sack lunches, which were a sandwich, a bag of chips, an apple, granola bar, and a bottle of water. You were able to use your meal credits for those. If you had a Disney dining plan, you could use your quick service credits for those, and I did that.
Yeah.
Because initially they told us, buy for the 2 days that we're going to be closed. We're not sure what it's going to be like. As Irma either weakened, slowed down, and moved more west, they eventually kept our quick service location at our hotel, the Port Orleans French Quarter, Sassagoula Float Works and Food whatever factory. That ended up staying open pretty much for all the days, minus one the Monday morning after the hurricane. That breakfast, it was closed, but it was open by lunch that day.
Okay, so it was open pretty much consistently throughout. Yeah. It was only closed for one meal.
So unfortunately, I had used 8 of my meal credits to purchase these sack lunches, and the nice thing was the manager let us one night trade them in for dinner, and then the next day they were like, well, we can't really do that, but and they were like, well, you can pay the difference, and we're like, don't worry about it.
Okay.
So they were kind of making right on it because they understood that the pressure was on that.
Yeah, to get
Saturday night when we got back from Epcot, when Epcot was closing down and they were plastic wrapping all the light fixtures and trash cans and everything together. It was like, you got to buy sack lunches for every day for the 2 days for all of your meals. So I'm like, okay.
Which I really understand, because the last time that a major hurricane came through Disney World, like, they were getting just rammed by everybody, criticizing Disney. Like, you're selling box lunches for $15 and it's just a sandwich and blah, blah, blah. So it makes sense that they, one, dropped the price down
to a more reasonable price for what it is.
2, allowed you to use dining credits, because I don't think they allowed you to use dining credits when the last hurricane came through.
That's not good.
And 3, they weren't really prepared for how long they would be closed with the last one, because I think they had a curfew, like a really early curfew the night before, and then it was closed for the full day, and then kind of a late start the next day.
Okay.
So then that's like a total of like 5 or 6 meals right there, and people were not prepared for that at all. So it's understandable why Disney did this, kind of covering all their bases.
And part of it too is we prepared a little bit going into it. We actually we flew Southwest so we could fly with extra bags, because everybody and their mom gets a bag or 2. 4. Yeah. So we took 2. We took an extra bag, a suitcase just full of like cereal, Pop-Tarts, granola bars, freeze-dried apples, like all the snacks for the kids. We were going to do that anyways for the kids to kind of snack our way for breakfast anyways, is where our plans kind of worked out.
Yeah.
But it worked out to have all those snacks too, which I was glad. And like I ended up throwing in like 9 Gatorades.
Oh, so you ended up just, tacking in a little more.
Yeah,
than
because
what
we
you
originally thought about maybe like taking an Uber one of the nights and going to a grocery store. But part of the problem is you don't know if that grocery store is going to have anything.
Yeah, you don't know if they have any water or any beverages or even if
food, whatever.
Any Uber would be any reasonable price.
Which one of the benefit was that they had a ton of those sacks lunches. They were everywhere. The gift shop had them, and the gift shop got some more supplies in. I mean, they normally keep like milk and some waters and stuff in there.
Yeah.
They definitely got more of those type of things. So I bought a gallon of water just in case.
Yeah.
And it was only like $3, which, when it's like $1 for that normally, it was like, whoa. But at the same time, when they charge $3 for an Aquafina bottle of water, you go, okay, it's fine, bad. I guess.
Well, you also look at, there was even a slightly off topic, or a slight tangent, but some Best Buy was being criticized for selling like a case of water for like $25.
Yeah, I know, I saw that.
So,
and they blamed it on the case being priced as the per bottle cost. We're like, okay, whatever.
So I understand a little bit of surcharge. Plus, you're at a Disney resort.
You're already
Disney World.
Yeah.
You're at a theme park surcharge.
But they did a good job of like keeping some of the other there was crackers and peanut butter and jelly and bags of chips, and they did a good job of kind of bringing some stuff in. And one night actually they gave us bags of popcorn, just like pop secret pre-pop popcorn in a bag.
Oh really?
They turned on Moana, and then you could go get a bag of popcorn.
Oh, there you go.
So
sweet.
They did a good job too. One of the channels on the TV turned into Disney movies on repeat. It was like Little Mermaid, and then was it Happily Ever After, whatever that one was. It's like live action, but it's making fun of the whole princess genre.
Yeah,
that one and a couple other. I think one other one on repeat.
Okay.
So it was kind of nice. Because they didn't have to keep us in our rooms as long as they maybe thought they did. They did a really good job of having the lobby be like kind of the information center.
Okay.
Did a really good job of keeping us updated with signs in the lobby. The app was amazing because it pushed a notification anytime there was anything new updated.
Yeah.
They also turned one of the TV channels, Channel 3 on the TV, which is normally just kind of an information about the parks. They turned that into like, here's what's going on at Port Orleans. Here's what you need to know. Like, here's what time the bar is going to close, or here's what time the restaurant's going to close.
Okay, cool. So it was just a resort information channel on what's going on, kind of throughout the hurricane.
They did a really good job of keeping us up to date, which was nice because we were talking about it. We're like, we live in Colorado. We know how to deal with a tornado. We can deal with a blizzard. We can deal with
rain.
I'm like, a hurricane. I'm like,
what do I do?
What do I do? What is this? What's going to happen?
Do I go sit in the bathtub? Is that the one? Do I stand under a door frame?
Yeah. Do I go under a table and put a mattress on top? Which one? What is this? Which one is this?
Which one is this?
Yeah.
It's like people confusing Disney World with Disneyland right there.
Which I saw some news article where they put a picture of Disneyland up and it was like, Disney World closes due to her. I'm like, that's Disneyland.
I see that all. It's
like
so
the little pink castle is
so
not Disney World.
The GP is so ignorant sometimes.
I know. They did a really good job. They made the arcade free. They had the characters out. They were doing dance parties. They were doing crafts, like stuff that they normally charge money for at like the pool, for example. Like one day, the day we got there, they were doing like $10 tote bag. You can come do a decorated tote bag for $10. They were doing that for free in the lobby.
Oh, sweet.
They did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it looked like if you guys didn't follow or if you don't follow us on Instagram, one, why not?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
At Unmistakably Magic. But two, if you do, you kept us pretty up to date with your situation, what was going on.
Yeah.
And really it looked like they had a lot of characters out and about.
Yeah, Chip and Dale were out.
Pluto was there.
Pluto was out, and
Donald Duck.
And then if you went over, which eventually we walked over to the other Port Orleans, Riverside.
Yeah.
And they had Goofy and a couple other ones out there too. So
yeah,
it's not too far once the weather kind of cleared up.
So were you free to walk around the resort at all during the?
That was my understanding. Nobody ever stopped us because we were walking from our room, and I mean it was pretty heavy rain, so I don't know how far you want to really go, but
yeah.
The one time they really were like encouraging people to stay in their room was the overnight from Sunday night into Monday morning, and then Monday morning up until they kind of opened stuff at noon. And I think part of that was, assessing damage and making sure there's no tree branches falling down.
Or like any structural damage or anything.
Yeah, because there was a couple big trees that did fall.
Yeah.
I have some video of a really big one that they were chopping up, and there was a couple other good ones. But
okay.
So that was really the only time we were really kind of locked in, and nobody was I didn't see anybody enforcing that, but.
Well, so were you like locked into your room or just kind of like the building that you were in?
I think the building you're in.
Okay.
Yeah. And this would be the advantage of staying someplace like the Contempo or Polynesian or Grand Floridian, because I imagine they had a little more going on. Because if nothing else, they had the sheer number of restaurants that they have in those resorts versus like our one.
Well, it looked like online from what I was seeing across like Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and everything, and even Snapchat, they had just like the same type of deal that they were doing with you guys.
Yeah, so when
you were staying at a moderate resort.
When the cafeteria was open, they were on a limited menu of like, here's a burger, here's a pizza, here's a pasta dish.
That's all we got right now.
And they're kind of dishing them out in quantity. It wasn't freshly made or so.
Yeah. I didn't see really anything.
It wasn't like
on food or
all. It wasn't like Polynesian. They were sitting at Ohana, like
enjoying it for
enjoying
free.
enjoying their steak on a sword.
I don't think that was there.
Oh, okay.
At least I didn't see anything explicitly about like kind of the food quality at those deluxe resorts, but it looked like the entertainment was pretty on par with what you had.
Yeah, because I remember seeing somebody else at Pop Century, and they seemed like they were having about the same, and they're a value. So
yeah, but with like Chip and Dale.
Yeah, it looked very similar. So.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So maybe the kind of general strategy was the same for all three resorts.
It seemed
levels.
like it was like we're gonna have characters out, we're gonna do crafts and activities.
Arcade's free.
Arcade's free. They did a movie in the lobby. They put on Moana one night. They rolled out a big TV and rolled it in the lobby and let the kids watch Moana.
Yeah.
So,
did you notice at all? I'm just curious. Did the staff change at all, or were they all the same? So they were staying at.
I got to give a huge shout out, especially there was one girl at the shop because I ended up going to the shop a lot to get stuff.
Yeah.
Her name was Hope. She was a college program because I can't remember what university. I think something Alabama. Because she had a very thick Southern accent. I ended up giving her a shout. Like the next day, I found a manager, and I was like, "You gotta like." She was super like.
You gave her a cast compliment.
I did because she was super positive. Like she was just super like awesome the whole time.
Yeah.
Super friendly. Like I mean, you gotta think a lot of them, their houses, their families, their friends are all local, in the same situations.
Yeah.
I mean, the college program maybe not because it's their dorm room. It's their apartment that Disney provides, so it's like
puts them up with,
who cares? But if they're an adult, a normal, a fully grown adult, it's their families in this, situation. Did seem like a lot of people were being housed in our hotel.
Okay.
So a lot of the staff were being given, it is a down season, so there are some rooms available.
Yeah.
Because I did talk to a housekeeping lady one night, or the next morning, because I needed some towels, and she was like, "Oh, we're in the room right above you." Like,
oh.
And they're, we follow some cast members that I didn't realize were cast members until we look, and you're like, oh, they're a cast member.
That makes sense.
Including one I think that works at the store in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't think that one, but a different one. And they were staying in one of the rooms, like playing board games and stuff, so.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Disney just put them up there and said.
And you did see a lot of the same staff, yeah.
Okay.
And they did a really good job of having like every concierge desk manned, like they had 4 or 5 of them, and they had 4 or 5 people at all of them, and they had
keeping all the information up to date and everything.
Because all of us had a lot of questions, like, what are we gonna do about this? What are we gonna do about this? So,
there you go.
You got to give it up to Disney. I was thinking about halfway through it, I'm like, I can imagine if you were at any other hotel being stuck for 2 days because everything in Orlando's closed. It's not like it's just Disney.
No.
It's everybody.
Absolutely everything. It
so
would not.
If you were on a big vacation to Orlando and maybe not even going to Disney, but all these other things, you're going to be stuck at your hotel with half the amenities. They may or may not have provided food. They may or may not have kept as much staff as Disney did on hand because Disney was trying to keep it magical.
Yeah. Well, it looked like Universal was pretty on par with what Disney was doing.
Really?
Although they just brought out Minion characters because that's basically all they have.
Yeah, I'm like Shrek, maybe, I guess.
Yeah, maybe Shrek. But they just brought out Minions and pretty much did the same type of deal. Sack lunches were available for like $6. Pretty much, kind of had it all, pretty much down to a science. It looks like the Orlando area parks definitely learned from the last hurricane.
It seemed like it, especially because, and as we did research going into our trip because we knew Irma was a possibility.
Yeah.
It seemed like, like we talked about the $15 sack lunch that wasn't meal credit. Definitely Disney learned probably from some negative public feedback.
Definitely.
That's a little too much to charge. Even yes, we're at Disney World, but
the other thing I don't know if it was 15, it might have been 12.
It was high though. I remember thinking whoa, I hope they don't do, because that's where I was thinking like, okay, do we go to a grocery store then? Is it worth the extra effort? You know?
Yeah.
A lot of locals, by the way. I was going to tell you that too.
Oh, really?
A lot of people checking in with pets.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently there's a hurricane rate where they drop the price really, really low.
Really?
Yeah. So Disney brings people in. So there was a lot of people, like a lot of older people.
A lot of people from down south coming up.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The funny thing too is when we got there Thursday, I have never seen the outgoing lines, like security lines, that busy. And every single person was in a wheelchair.
Oh man.
Like hundreds of people in thousands of people in wheelchairs because I imagine it's all the grandparents getting evacuated
at MCO.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So they're all getting on planes to go fly wherever they're, back up to New York or wherever they're from.
Yeah, wherever their families are at.
Yeah.
Taking care of them, getting them out.
Because our flight there was like empty. And so was our flight home on that Saturday, too, actually.
They were.
Yeah.
Even Frontier, though, they had a 99% off sale to Florida.
Really?
Yeah. Except not out of Denver or Colorado Springs. So
that's funny.
Couldn't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I was, they sent me, I just get the email updates, and I saw that, and I was walking out of, like, to and from class or whatever, and I just glanced at it. So I was texting Nathan, I'm like, dude, 99% off to Florida. Let's go. We can get flights for, like, $5.
Well, it'd almost be one of those, like, fly wherever you need to go to get the 99, the $5 flight or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, so it sounds like Disney really did an excellent job of keeping you in the know.
Yep.
Keeping you entertained.
Which, yeah, the know was the big one, I think. That would have been hard not to be in the know. I mean, we had the local news on the TV. We had apps. I had the Weather Channel app.
Did you ever lose power?
Never lost power, never lost water. Internet slowed way down.
I imagine it did.
It helped when you went to the lobby, because I think a lot
of the routers
less people were going to be on it.
Yeah.
Because even my hotel room, for example, we had, my phone, my wife's phone, my iPad, the kids' tablet.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was even being used, it's still
connected,
sucking up
still
internet,
pulling through.
Yeah.
And then right next to you, your parents.
Yeah. With more, two smartphones and another two tablets,
laptops,
laptop, whatever else
yeah,
too.
No,
Yeah.
I'm sure that
was common, and then especially
a strain on the
extra cast members or whatever staying in the building too.
I'm sure it was a full experience, or a full hotel at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, so they kept you well informed. Wi-Fi was functioning pretty much the whole time.
Yeah,
you didn't really lose any amenities.
A little slow, but we didn't lose any amenities. I mean, the meals was the one thing that kind of changed. But
did you notice if the television ever went out?
A couple times it did, and I think it's because Disney uses DirecTV, which is
they use
satellite.
They use satellite.
So it got a little spotty at times, because I can remember we were eating dinner Sunday night.
Yeah.
So the night it was going to hit.
Yeah.
We were eating dinner, and they had like a TV with Disney Junior on, and it would cut out, and then kind of about 5 minutes later it would come on, and then it would die again. And then
yeah. So they use satellite, and regardless of if it's a hurricane
or just
a mild storm, you're gonna lose it.
Yeah, because I really never felt like going outside, at least the hours I was awake.
Yeah.
Which it hit at like 2 a.m. It really, the heat of it hit at 2 a.m.
Which, did it wake you up at all?
Uh-uh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I woke up the next morning like, whoa, did the hurricane happen? Is it over?
That's surprising, because I was reading, like, kind of, hey, just a heads up, if you're going to Disney World and you've never experienced a hurricane before, like, here are things that they're very common. Sounds like a jet's flying by, and Transformers explode. So be prepared for that.
So we never lost power, and
well, every Disney resort has its own backup generator. Yeah, so I'm sure that was.
It might have kicked on. We don't know. The fire alarm did go off, though. That was interesting.
Which probably tells me that the main power went out and the backup generator came
possibly,
on.
And that kicked that alarm off.
Triggered the alarm and everything.
The other thing I would say is the way that Port Orleans is set up, the buildings are all kind of in courtyards, and we were facing in a courtyard with the wind at our backs.
Oh, so
I imagine the rooms on
the other side of you
would have been feeling it a little more. And I don't know, maybe they strategically place people on the internal rooms like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Because even that courtyard was way quieter. The trees were not blowing nearly as much as if you stepped around that corner. It was like, whoa, there it is.
Yeah.
So it was much more obvious on the other side.
Okay. So then what was the aftermath like?
There were a few trees that were down. The next day we went to Animal Kingdom. Well, no, the next day we went to Hollywood Studios, and I didn't notice as much there, but the next day after that we went to Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Definitely much more marked damage.
Was it just like the trees were...
A lot more trees were damaged. There were like areas where you weren't allowed to walk because there were like branches hanging from the trees. Like the safari, Kilimanjaro safaris had maybe half the animals out, maybe.
Yeah, there were some reports of like Kilimanjaro safaris has like no animals.
Like there was no tiger or cheetah. There were no lions. There was, and I feel like that we only saw like 3 giraffes.
Oh wow!
I was like, "Was that it?" Like, I mean, there was not a whole lot out.
Oh yeah,
it was a much quicker safari than usual.
So. I imagine it was.
But it was still enjoyable.
So the downside is slight carnage at every park. Kind of more so at Animal Kingdom, safaris was
I think
lackluster.
I think Animal Kingdom is just the sheer number of trees that, and probably the unnatural, species that have been planted there or whatever else too.
Yeah, that should not be in a hurricane in any shape or form.
They're not ready for that wind.
No, really, even like a nice storm.
Now the upside to all that is that we basically got dinner reservations and lunch reservations at any place we wanted to go. We got just about any fast pass we wanted to get. I ended up going in and editing some of our later days too.
Yeah. To
get even better stuff because people were probably canceling trips and stuff.
Yeah, they're either canceling or I was thinking that a lot of locals were just pulling out of their trips. And,
because they're going to just stay home and deal with their own stuff.
Annual pass holders were just, nope, not going to go. Like even the Tim Tracker, it took him like 3 days after the hurricane, 4 days after the hurricane to go into Disney again or Universal or a park. Yeah. Which is astounding.
So like that Tuesday, the Tuesday was the next day that the park opens after the hurricane. There was nobody. We walked on to everything we wanted to do.
Yeah, you were texting me. You're like, Rock and Roller Coaster is a 5 minute away right now. Maybe I'll go ride it.
Tower was like walk on. Like it wasn't even worth using fast passes. I was telling you earlier that like I was literally editing fast passes. I was like, well, I don't need this, so I'll just walk on. And as we were walking on, I was changing that fast pass to something else.
Yeah, you were saying like you rode Toy Story Midway Mania, got off, got back in line, and just walked through the queue.
Yeah,
and
basically just
went back
the
on.
queue time was the only wait on a lot of things.
So, slight perks to going during a hurricane.
Yeah, and the same thing is that we spent half the day that Tuesday at Hollywood Studios, did all of it.
Yeah.
In that half a day. We didn't do all the shows, but we did
6 attractions.
All the attractions.
I guess 5 attractions.
Yeah, I think it's only 5 now. And then went to Epcot again to do a dinner, but also got on like Frozen right away, and then we did Anna and Elsa.
Yeah.
And I was telling you that it was like a 15-minute wait on the board, and I was like, 15 minutes. She's like, the cast member was like, it's far less than that. We're like, okay. So we walk in, and we literally walk up to them. No one's behind us. No one's in front of us. We spent 5 minutes with each one of them. They were like on their backup story by the time we moved on. And even I have a picture I showed you of the kids meeting Elsa, and Anna's just standing in the background watching us because she's got no one else to meet with her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just crazy stuff like that. Like, I think Frozen Ever After was a 35-minute wait for standby. I think we ended up having a fast pass. We walked onto the boat. It was like, onto the boat and go.
In and out.
Yeah.
So
by Friday, you started to feel the crowds a little bit more, and especially because of food and wine going on.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So definitely, we'll talk about food and wine some other time, but the whole thing about avoid food and wine on the weekends, 100% true, because all the locals come out.
I bet. I mean, every rumor comes from somewhere.
Yeah. And it's true, because it was like, whoa.
All stereotypes have some truth to them.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so overall, pleasant experience?
Yes, I think Disney did a really good job of making it magical. Again, got to give huge shout-outs to the staff at Port Orleans French Quarter and the parks in general, because I can imagine their maintenance guys were working their tails off.
Working overtime.
Monday morning through probably Tuesday morning, if not even into more.
Well, you were even saying that they were pulling down a bunch of scrim from stuff, so you got some little sneak peeks at some things.
Yeah, because I got to see some preview of what it's going to look like to walk into Star Wars Land, because they pulled down scrim because...
Well, they pulled down the scrim over by Muppet Courtyard, which is now going to be Grand Avenue.
Yep.
So...
Yeah, they did a lot of that stuff. So it was interesting to be there. I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we stayed. Because there was some discussion, but there would have been no way to get a flight out of there.
No.
So there was some discussion about leaving, and it was like, we're not going to get out of here, so let's live through it. Obviously it wasn't as bad as it could have been. No guarantee with the hurricane, because I said, it originally was just going this way, then it's going this way, and then it kind of came right up the middle, and we're like, well, okay, I guess here we go.
Guess we're getting hit.
Yeah.
So overall, pleasant experience.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate to lose 2 days. Luckily for us, it was in the middle of an 8-day trip, so we still had 6 days. We had
to enjoy the parks.
We had two good days at the beginning, 2 days of chilling in our room, and then 4 more days after that to really enjoy the parks. Yeah. And especially with such low crowd too. It was
you could really take full advantage.
We really took full advantage, and we really did a lot in those 6 days.
Yeah, the Instagram story was.
And that wasn't even all of it. It
was lit.
I had to remember to do it, and it was because you can imagine how many more things I did that didn't even get recorded or whatever. So
yeah. So then, how did your kids react to this experience?
I think because we didn't hear it or really see it, there was no fear there.
Well, how do they feel just being trapped inside the resort for 2 days?
I don't think they knew the difference because we were still on a vacation. The characters were out. The arcade's free.
Stuff. Okay.
We were still eating Mickey bars until the store ran out and didn't get them back for like 2 days after the store.
Oh, I bet you were a bummer for that one.
I found some later. There was some hidden in the cafeteria.
25 worth?
No.
25 total?
I don't think I did 20. I probably did maybe one per day, so if that.
8?
I mean, the parks, the staff did such an amazing job of keeping. I don't think the kids probably even noticed. Like,
really,
my kids are also young enough that they're not thinking about it. Or if my son can go to the arcade and play games all for like 2 hours at a time, which is what we did a couple times.
He'd love that. He's in heaven.
That's awesome. That's Disney World to him. He doesn't know the difference. He doesn't know he's missing out on the parks or whatever. So
yeah. So then, last question: would you suggest going during hurricane season, or even suggest planning a trip if you know a hurricane is coming? Would you go that far? Was it enjoyable?
I would say plan it. Don't worry about hurricane season.
Okay.
Because this is only the 5th. I mean, you think about how many years are we at now?
They were opened in 1971, 72, 71, 71. Yeah.
So
October 1st, 1971.
3 years is 2001. So we're at 46 years of Walt Disney World, and we're talking 5 times.
Ever it's been closed?
I mean, we've talked about this before when we talked about booking in September. Like, rains are going to happen, but crowds are way going to be lower. Rides are going to be down because it's a lower season.
Yeah.
There are pluses and minuses. I would say worth it doing the season. I would say if you could somehow finagle it just right to get in there before the hurricane got too bad and be there long enough after the hurricane that you're not having to worry about flights.
Yeah.
Because flights were still a little weird even the day we left, but ours was fine. But there was still, you could tell there was just they were still figuring some things out at MCO at the airport. So
I imagine they were.
The McDonald's was like, we're out of ice and we're out of they're not getting so there's going to be things like that. So if you can go early enough to enjoy it, maybe spend the 2 days you have to spend in your hotel room because a hurricane hits, and then enjoy the parks after that, sure. But that's kind of a...
Were the crowd levels low enough where it would be worth it?
I can't even tell you. Like, we had breakfast one day at Hollywood Studios with characters, and there were 5 tables.
With people eating there?
With people eating there.
That's ridiculous.
So we literally saw the characters not at one point they just stopped coming around, and then if they did, they just kind of looked to make sure we didn't want a picture at that point, and then just kept walking because it was like there's no point in this.
Oh yeah. All right. So overall, enjoyable experience.
Really, it was really unique in a way. That's the other thing that it felt halfway through the trip when we were getting reservations we couldn't get. Even
2 months ago.
2 months ago, we couldn't get them. Fast passes we couldn't get. Or walking onto things that we couldn't get fast passes for, or really short waits for things we couldn't get fast passes for. I was like, this is worth it.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And the 2 days weren't that bad again,
in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't horrible.
It could have been worse if we had to truly be in our room with no, if we had to eat those sack lunch foods for
2 days.
For 2 days, we would have stared at our hotel room TV and the 1 or 2 channels that aren't direct TV and aren't satellite. It would have been a little
less enjoyable.
Or the internet going down or the power going off or all that. So,
all right. So, sounds like you had a unique, very interesting experience.
It is, yeah. It was. Which we'll talk more about, my trip. My actual trip.
Yeah, we will.
Not the hurricane part.
We'll talk more about, a hurricane was probably the biggest thing. I mean,
it felt the most relevant, too, for this week.
Yeah, we're also going to jump into Pandora, kind of Star Wars Land preview stuff, food and wine for a first time. all that fun stuff.
Well, thank you for listening to the Unmistakably Magic Podcast.
Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Check out our social media. We're at Unmistakably Mag on Twitter, Unmistakably Magic on Instagram, Facebook.com/Unmistakably Magic.
What are you going to say?
I don't know.
Well,
1 a.m.
Sadly, I did not.
No Space-a-dia.
Yeah, the school's been picking up. It's
disappointing.
It's making me want to go to space. But if you want me to drop out of school, head over to unmistakablymagic.spreadshirt.com, buy a ton of shirts so that I don't have to go to
buy.
Oh, a lot. Quick math, probably about $100K. And, that would probably give me a nice wage for the year. Unmistakablymagic.spreadshirt.com. If we get some decent sales, I will have more incentive to do the Space-a-dia design. Right. So give me the reason. Give me the rhyme. I want to make that Space-a-dia design.
Wow. Email us. Questions, comments, or concerns. unmistakablymagic@gmail.com. Go ahead and subscribe to us over on YouTube. You can find all of our shows. The after show, we're probably not going to do one this week, but
it's very late.
But there'll be some other videos up there soon. I'm probably going to make a special hurricane info video for future reference because it was nice to find some of those.
We'll qualify that as our quote unquote after show for this episode. Hurricane tips.
Go over to iTunes, leave us a review, and subscribe over there if you haven't already. And a big thank you to our friend Dylan over at Blast Off Branding for making our awesome logo. Don't forget to check out our friends at the Unmistakably Star Wars podcast. Those guys are always
They actually just celebrated their 100th episode.
Wow.
So we're
we're
almost there.
Far behind.
No, they've been around for about a year longer than we have.
All right.
I feel like they missed several more episodes than we have.
And we've kind of kept up on not missing.
We've done it pretty well.
We have. Hey, look at us.
Hey, yeah. Not saying we're better or anything, but
we kind of are. Any shout-outs?
No shout-outs. I don't know. Wade got a new Instagram and he posted for the first time.
Did he?
Yeah.
I remember he said something about getting an Instagram.
He got an Instagram to follow along on that. So, congratulations for getting an Instagram, Wade.
Yeah,
and,
congratulations.
Congratulations on your first post where you are stoked to introduce your kid to the magic of Disney.
There you go.
Hope you enjoy that. Well, that just about wraps it up this week.
All right. Have a magical week.
See you real soon.